Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something you've never heard of. I'm going to make midgets, widget, fidgets, oh yes. The reason you've never heard of those is because I just invented the name, ha ha ha. But basically it's a continuation of last week's fidget pie, but these are individual ones, so they're midget ones. And they're not actually widgets, but I just put that in because it's a stupid rhyme and I liked it. So there you go. So in last week's video where I made a big family size pie, I think I mentioned that some places in Shropshire and thereabouts would make individual ones and they make them with different toppings. So you've got your standard pastry lid, proper pie, and then you've got a mashed potato topping, and then you've got sage and onion stuffing topping. And also for this one, I'm going to do mushy peas topping, which was suggested by Dave Hendry in a comment last week. And I think that sounds very intriguing, so we'll have a go at that. That won't be a true fidget pie, but then ultimately, what is? Who knows? So if you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And let's get on with it. Midget, widget, fidgets. Midget, fidget, widgets. Midget, fidget, widgets. Your first job is sort out some pastry. So this is some hot water pastry that I made a few days ago. To make the hot water pastry, mix together 300 grams of plain all-purpose flour with a teaspoon of salt. And then in a small saucepan, melt 150 grams of lard with 150 ml of water. And then stir that into the flour and mix it till you have a smooth kind of paste. Set that aside and let it cool down until you're ready for it. If you really don't want to make your own pastry, you can buy short crust. I wouldn't recommend flaky or puff pastry for this, really. And the next job to do is sort out the toppings. Alright, so I'm going to make some mashed potato, and I'm going to use this magical potato ricer. In last week's video, I used this apple and potato peeler corer thing to peel the potatoes. And Stephen Hope left a comment saying, you will enjoy mashed potato with the skin on. And Stephen, I've got to tell you, I hate it. It's just not right. Mashed potato should be smooth, white, without any crunchy bits. I know that the skin on is better for you, but it ruins mashed potato for me. So there, end of lecture. I like it on new potatoes, I like it on baked potatoes, loaded potato skins, and sometimes big fat fries, but never ever in mash. Sorry. However, with this, you don't need to peel your potatoes in advance because this actually does it for you. It's a bit magical. But I'm going to just cut out these indentations, these little eyes, and then we cut that into chunks. And we put potatoes into water. Pinch of salt. Put those on the stove, bring them to the boil, simmer for about 10 minutes till they're nice and tender. Now I'll just make up the stuffing, so I've got the sage and onion stuffing mix. There's 40 grams there. And 125 ml of boiling water. Give that a stir, make sure there's no clumps of dry stuffing mix there. And we'll leave that at least 5 minutes. It's actually going to be a lot longer than that, but that won't hurt. After 5 minutes, the dried stuffing's all hydrated. I'm going to throw in a knob of butter, stir that in, make it buttery. Set that aside until we need it. Prep the mushy peas for Dave. Yes, it's a can. I do have a recipe for homemade mushy peas if you want. Alright, don't need that anymore. There was a time when we first moved into this house and I thought, I'm not going to fill it with gadgets. And guess what I did? Anyway, I do like this one. I like it. It's kind of crudity. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just, you know, it's just mechanical. Stick it to the worktop. There we go. I've got one apple. So whack that on there and turn it. There we go. One springy apple. One of my grannies used to be able to do this with a knife and an apple. Not as skinny as that, but she could do an entire apple skin in one go. Quite amazing. Okay, I'm going to pop this into a glass and just pour a bit of cider over it to stop it going dry and brown. Let's do the mash. So you want a chunk of butter, one of these, link down below if you want to get one. So put some tatties in the ricer, squeeze, and there's the skin magically removed. So we need a bit of seasoning. I've got, because it's a very small amount, I've got a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, quarter of a teaspoon of white pepper, and a little splash of milk. Stir that all together. Quick taste. Yeah, that's lovely. Set that aside until we need it. Now the filling, the actual meat, I've got 250 grams of 12% fat pork mince, and I've got 200 grams of gammon. So the mince is fine as it is, and you could use all mince, but I've just got this to give a bit of variety to the texture. So I'm not going to mince it, I'm just going to chop it into teeny bits, which may take a while, so I'll come back later. Okay, there we go. That only took 20 minutes. So just mix them all together, and the seasoning, actually I'm not going to add any salt because I know this is quite salty, this gammon, but if you're not using anything that's got added salt, then you know, maybe half teaspoon of salt would be what you need. Half teaspoon of ground white pepper, half teaspoon of mace or nutmeg if you don't have that, and a teaspoon of sage. Give it a good old mix. And actually you probably need to use your hands. Just imagine I've got a latex glove on there, but I haven't because I've run out. Now finally it's time to assemble the pies. So I'm using these little pudding tins that I got from Sainsbury's about 8 years ago. So I'll put, if I can find anything similar on the web, I'll put a link, but yeah, don't hold your breath. Anyway, bit of flour on your worktop. So I'm going to do 2 of each type of midget, widget, fidget, you know, pie. So first of all, I'll just roll out the lids for the fully enclosed proper ones. Right, just cut round a tin. And I'm using a little funnel to make a hole in the middle. Right, set those aside. Grab more dough and roll it out thin. Cut a piece that's big enough to fit inside one of these tins. But before you do that, I'm going to sprinkle mine with ground rice or rice flour. You could use semolina or polenta. And the idea of this is it'll just stop it sticking to the tin, I hope. Push that down to the bottom without folding it, creasing it or tearing it. And it can be useful to just get a blob of spare dough to push it down with, so you don't rip it with your talon-like fingernails. Right, so just cut around it, but leave a margin about, you know, about a centimetre, about half an inch. And set that aside. Okay, let's build some pies. So I'm going to do the fully enclosed ones first, and I'm just going to grab a lump of filling. Yep, that's about right, and we'll weigh that. 66. And then I'll pop a nice piece of apple on the top. I'll just drizzle a bit of cider in there. Give it some juiciness and probably a soggy bottom. I might regret that. I'll just moisten the rim and plop the top on. Fold it over all round and then just squish it into the middle so that it's not stuck onto the top of the tin, because that will destroy your pie. Now I'm going to just press it down with a fork just to give it a little bit of a nice pattern. And now paint it with some egg wash, which is just an egg beaten together with a splash of milk. I'm going to weigh the remaining pork filling. That is 326 grams. So I need to divide that by 6. What's 326 divided by 6? 54.33333333333333. So I'll just break this down into 54 grams. And that's plenty for that kind of pie. So I'll pop a ball of filling in each one. Then a slice of apple on 4 of them. The one that's going to have mushy peas, I really don't think apple will go with that, so I'm leaving that out. There we go. Right, so stuffing on 2 of them. Mashed tatty on the next 2. And good old mushy peas on the Dave specials. I was worried about these getting burnt and crunchy on the top, but Dave says they don't. We'll see. Now we'll finish these off, so I'm just gonna dribble egg wash all over the mushy peas. I'm sure that'll make them better. Actually, what will make them better is to get this pastry away from the tin. I'll just mention, this is version 2. I did the whole thing yesterday and I hated it and I had a lot of problems with it, so you know, I like to show you what goes wrong, but you don't want to watch that. These, just scrape the tops with a fork and those ridges will catch the heat and caramelise and turn brown and be lovely and crunchy and kind of thing. So yeah, egg wash around the pastry, a bit of butter on the top. Right, almost time to bake them. For a fan oven, a convection oven, an air fryer oven like what I've got, you want that heated to 180 degrees Celsius. If it's a normal conventional oven, that's 200 Celsius, and if it's gas, that's 6. These need to go in for about 35 minutes. Okay, time's up. Let's get them out. Okay, so they've cooled down a little bit. Not that much. And so I'll just kind of prise them away from the tin. I think that'll do. Oh yeah. Ta-da! Right then, taste test time. You know, you see like MasterChef and Bake Off and that, and they have dozens of things to taste, and you know, I don't know how they do it, and I'm not going to do it with that knife. That's all lovely. That's fab. That's the one with the stuffing on the top. And the apple in the middle and the porky stuff at the bottom. I like that. Not wrong with them. And now the Dave Hendry special, not a widget, midget, widget, fidget, or any of those things. It's pork with mushy peas. Oh yeah. That's brilliant. You know when they talk about pie and peas, up north, what they mean is a pork pie and mushy peas. And that's what that is, and it's fantastic. Well done, Dave, I love it. So take your choice or make them all, they're all brilliant, I love it. And thanks for watching, and see you next time.